teacher friends, welcome to day 1 of our Get Your Read-Alouds Organized for the Year challenge. I'm so excited you're here in this workshop. Before we dive in, I want you to know that I see you. I see how hard you're working. I see the pressure you're under with curriculum demands and tight schedules. I hear you when you say things like, our district is big on using programs with fidelity and running our schedule. So I have about 50 minutes spread throughout the day to teach SEL, science, social studies, and make up any unfinished lesson time. Or finding time with our new curriculum and strict schedule is a struggle. Or my administrators are very strict about our schedule. Sound familiar? I know exactly what that's like. When I first started teaching, I found myself cutting read-alouds when time got tight, even though I knew how valuable they were. But here's my promise to you. By the end of today's session, you're going to identify at least 2 to 3 pockets of time in your week where you can fit in meaningful read-alouds. And I'm going to show you how to make the absolute most of those moments. Before we talk about finding time, let's quickly remind ourselves why read-alouds are worth fighting for in our schedules. Did you know that the U.S. Department of Education's Commission on Reading analyzed over 10,000 research studies and concluded that reading aloud is the single most important activity for building the knowledge required for eventual success in reading? That's not just a nice sentiment. That's based on extensive research. But you probably already know read-alouds are important, right? You're not wondering if you should do them. You're wondering how to fit them in. Here's what I find fascinating, though. Research shows that read-alouds don't just help with reading skills. They actually support vocabulary development, strengthen independent writing, build content knowledge, especially benefit multilingual learners, and even foster social-emotional development. Think about it. When was the last time you did a read-aloud and didn't see your students completely engaged? Even your wiggly ones, right? There's something magical that happens during that time. So while I completely understand the pressure you're under with your curriculum demands, this research is why I believe read-alouds aren't optional extras. They're essential tools that actually help us meet those demands more effectively. Now let's talk about some misconceptions that might be making read-alouds feel more overwhelming than they need to be. Misconception number 1, a read-aloud must be done all at once. Have you ever thought, if I can't read this whole book in one sitting, what's the point? I used to think that too, but guess what? Breaking a book across multiple days can actually be more effective. It builds anticipation, gives students time to process, and quite honestly, fits our crazy schedules better. Misconception number 2, a read-aloud needs extensive preparation and follow-up. Listen, I love a good extension activity as much as the next teacher, but research shows that even a simple, well-executed 10 to 15-minute read-aloud has tremendous value. Did you know that 50 to 70% of teachers don't even plan for their read-alouds? Just imagine the impact when you put even a little intentional thought into it. Misconception number 3, there's no room in my schedule. This is the big one, isn't it? With curriculum demands, testing pressure, and everything else on our plates, it feels impossible. But I promise you, hidden pockets of time exist in every classroom schedule, and I'm going to help you find yours. Let's talk about those hidden moments in your day that are perfect for read-alouds. Grab a piece of paper or use the worksheet we'll talk about later and think about these transitions in your day. Morning meeting or arrival time. You know that 5 to 10 minutes when kids are trickling in? Perfect read-aloud opportunity. What about snack time? Kids are sitting, eating, and their hands are busy, but their minds are free. Before or after specials like PE, art, or music, those transition times when you're waiting for the specialist teacher. Before or after lunch, especially after lunch when you need to help students settle back in. After recess, this is one of my favorites. Kids come in all wound up and a quick read-aloud helps them transition back to learning mode. Or the end of the day wind down, those last 10 to 15 minutes when everyone's packed up but you still have time before dismissal. In my classroom, I started using that after recess time for read-alouds and it completely transformed our afternoons. Students went from bouncing off the walls to being completely absorbed in our story within minutes. And because it became part of our routine, they started looking forward to it and transitioning faster. Again, research actually supports this idea of consistency. Experts recommend setting aside a consistent place and time slot of 15 to 20 minutes per day to read aloud and never giving up your read aloud time, even if some days you need to switch the timing. But here's the thing. You don't need to use all of these times. Just identify 2 to 3 consistent opportunities to start. Small, consistent steps lead to lasting habits. Now, let's talk about what I consider the secret weapon for fitting more read-alouds into your day. Cross-curricular integration. What if I told you that read-alouds don't have to compete with your curriculum time? They can actually enhance it and help you meet multiple instructional goals at once. Research supports this idea that building students' background knowledge through cross-curricular integration makes read-alouds even more powerful. Let me share some specific examples on how one book can serve multiple purposes across different subject areas. So, The Great Kapok Tree by Lynn Cherry. I love using this for teaching cause and effect in reading, but it also brings in crucial science concepts about deforestation and environmental impacts. My students remember these concepts so much better when they're connected to a story that they care about. The Stranger by Chris Van Allsburg is fantastic for inferring. The students have to piece together clues about who this mysterious character might be, but it also beautifully illustrates the changing of seasons, supporting your science curriculum. And don't overlook books for social emotional learning. The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds works for inferring and making connections in reading, but it also teaches powerful lessons about growth mindset and perseverance. You know, we often think about using read-alouds for reading and writing instruction, but they're powerful for science, social studies, math, and SEL too. And here's the thing. When you use picture books in these unexpected subject areas, 2 magical things happen. First, your students grasp these concepts at a much deeper level because they see them in context with visual support and narrative structure that helps them really internalize their learning. Second, you're sneaking in more read-alouds without taking extra time. Think about how this addresses our time constraint problem. Instead of searching for and prepping multiple books across subjects, you're leveraging one quality text for multiple purposes. Students make connections between subject areas, which deepens their understanding, and honestly, they enjoy the learning more, which means less time spent on behavior management and redirecting attention. When you're using books across the curriculum, make those connections explicit for your students. Say things like, remember when we read this book in reading yesterday? Today, we're going to look at it through a scientist's eyes. Or, let's revisit this illustration and think about what it teaches us about communities. These explicit connections help students transfer knowledge between subject areas. So as you fill out your Time Finder template today, I want you to think beyond just finding minutes in your day. Think about how your upcoming curriculum topics across all subjects could be enhanced with picture books. That's where the real magic happens. When a read-aloud isn't just a separate activity, but an integral tool that makes your teaching more effective and efficient. This cross-curricular approach to read-alouds is something I'm really passionate about. Finding the right books that work across multiple subject areas and planning those connections has been game-changing in my classroom. But more on that in the days to come. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Planning read-alouds sounds like more work, not less. But here's the thing. A little planning now saves tremendous time later and makes your read-alouds that much more effective. Research suggests a simple 3-step protocol that I've adapted to make super practical. Step 1, evaluate. Choose the right books for your teaching goals. This might be matching books to your science units or finding stories that address classroom challenges. Step 2, explain. Plan for key vocabulary you want to highlight and think about how you'll model your thinking during reading. Step 3, engage. Plan simple, quick follow-up activities like turn and talk or quick drawing. This kind of intentional planning is something I'm truly passionate about. It's actually why I initially created resources that match books to curriculum topics. I needed them myself, but more on that on another day. For now, think about your upcoming teaching topics for the next month. Can you identify just one book per topic that would enhance your teaching? That's a great place to start. So now it's time for today's action item. I've created a customizable read-aloud schedule template for you to download from our workshop group. This is your freebie for today, and it comes in both daily and weekly formats to fit your planning style. This worksheet has 3 simple sections. Section 1 is your daily schedule review, where you'll identify those transition times we talked about. Section 2 is your curriculum topic mapping. This is where you'll match your upcoming units with potential read-aloud slots. Section 3 is your action plan, where you'll commit to 2 to 3 specific times in a week for read-alouds. When you complete this template, you'll walk away with a concrete plan for when you'll do read-alouds each day and week, even with your packed curriculum. This isn't just busy work, it's a practical tool that will help you make read-alouds a consistent part of your classroom routine. Remember, this is just day 1 of our journey together. Today was all about finding those hidden moments in your schedule where read-alouds can thrive. Tomorrow in day 2, we'll be mapping your year-long comprehension strategy plan. We'll build on today's work by looking at which comprehension strategies to teach and when to teach them throughout the school year. This will help you create a structured approach to read-alouds that supports your students' reading development all year long. I can't wait to see where you find those hidden moments in your day. Please complete your read-aloud schedule and share at least one discovery in our Facebook group. What time slot surprised you? Which part of your curriculum are you excited to enhance with read-alouds? You've got this. Even if you only find 10 minutes twice a week to start, that's 10 minutes your students weren't getting before. And trust me, they'll thank you for it. Once you've figured out your schedule, post it in the Facebook group and let us know what you found out and what you got out of today's video. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow for day 2.